Okay, the next part of this lesson still deals with scatter plots, and we are going to determine the type of correlation in a scatter plot. So the word correlation is probably new to you. There are types of correlations in scatter plot. So all a correlation is it's an association or the relationship between two sets of data. So how one set is related to the other set. There are four main types of correlations. We can have positive correlations, negative correlations, nonlinear, and no correlations at all, which would mean the two variables are not related or the two data sets are not related. And then if you think back to when we learned about different types of slopes, that will become very useful for types of correlations, because to determine the type of correlation, you just have to think about what type of slope would the trend of data points have. So think back to slope, positive and negative slopes especially, and that will help you determine the types of correlations because they go in the same direction. So we're going to look at the four different types here. In our first graph, this is an example of a positive correlation. So you can see these points are trending upwards to the right. So if I were to draw a line in here to follow the pattern of data, I can see that it's going up to the right. Remember, that type of slope would have been a positive slope. So this is an example of a positive correlation. This next graph is an example of a negative correlation. I can see my points are going downwards to the right. So if I were to draw a line to follow the trend of data, that line would have a negative slope. A negative slope is also a negative correlation. Next one is nonlinear correlations. So when we think of linear, linear means straight line. So nonlinear means the patterns are in lines that are not straight. So we can see this curved pattern of data. That would be nonlinear. There is a pattern, but it's like a curved, we would call this a parabola. And then in this graph, in the bottom right, we can see it's kind of got a steep curve and then it flattens out. So there is a pattern there, but it's nonlinear because it's steep and a curved line following that pattern or that trend. So these are nonlinear correlations. And then the last type is when there's no correlation. So the points are just scattered all around. There is no trend in data. The points are not rising upwards to the right. They're not going downwards to be negative. It's not curved, it's scattered all over. So just a quick recap for you. Positive correlations go upwards to the right. Negative correlations go downwards to the right. Nonlinear have some sort of curved pattern, and no correlation are scattered all over.